When using a Gecko, have you experienced a problem called ducking, which is where you pull the trigger after you've primed the blaster and the entire slide moves backwards and it just doesn't fire? In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix it. Hello friends, hello YouTube, Rainbow here again with another episode of repairing and maintaining your Gecko blaster. Now this time we're going to talk about an issue called ducking. This is my friend Jeff's Gecko, and this blaster has seen quite a lot of action and it's developed a little problem. So essentially what this means is when you prime the blaster and now you want to shoot, the entire slide sort of shifts backwards, as you can see here. So it doesn't stay forward as it should. The entire thing shifts backward and therefore the blaster is not releasing. Why I call this ducking is because essentially that's what happened. The slide lock here is not engaging with the frame. So it ducks underneath. There we go. And normally it should, like you can see here, you can see this, it should engage like so. And now when I pull the trigger, it's not moving backwards. And now when I actually shoot, I'm going to shoot in my hand now and it's going to hurt. Ow. This is a really annoying issue to have because especially when you're running the blaster, you're kind of, looking where you're going to go and then you try and shoot and then this happens. So now we've established the issue is the slide lock not engaging. There's several reasons for this, and again, depending on if you have access to a printer or if you print the files yourself, you just reprint a couple of things. Otherwise you might need to order some. Links are in the description as always. Issue number one that could be is that your slide lock here is too long and doesn't in fact clear all the way from the frame, so it would still be sort of stuck like this and can't come up. That's why there is different sizes of slide locks, and so therefore you would need to reprint a smaller one, a shorter one. And what I mean is the distance here, that will be shorter, like about 1 millimeter or so, so therefore that can then come up in front of the frame here. But in this case, the slide lock is actually fine. As you can see here now, like if I push this down, the slide lock can actually come up quite easy. I'm just going to make sure that you can see this. This is down, and if I push it up, it can come up quite easy. Okay? And so I know that the size of the slide lock is not the issue. The issue is in here, where the slide lock is interacting with the priming handle. And this is something that can happen to a Gecko over the course of time when it's been used a fair bit because of wear and tear and all of that sort of jazz. So there is two ways that you can solve this. Number one, you print a new and improved part. This is a new and improved slide lock, and the files are available on Thingiverse, so links are in the description. I've worked this version out together with Adrian and we've changed the angle here a little bit, so the initial force that happens that is on the slide lock is a lot bigger. The other way that you can solve this, if you don't have access to a printer, is you can fill the inside of the priming handle with some epoxy glue. And I'm going to show you both ways once I've taken this blaster apart, so you know what we're doing. In this case, we'll be putting in this part because it's a lot easier, but fear not, if you don't have access to a 3D printer and you need to fix this issue, you can also do this with some epoxy glue. So let's go and disassemble the blaster. I'm going to quickly do this off camera, but if you need any information on how to do this, please check out the first video of this series, and off we go. Alright, so this is basically as far as you need to take your Gecko apart in order to fix this problem. Now, to show you how this normally works, see that groove in here? So when you prime the blaster, you push it up to here, and then it comes back forwards, and now this should engage, pushing this one down, in retrospect pushing this one up. Okay, so what means when you have this ducking problem is that this edge here and that piece are not engaging as well as they used to or should do. Now, I said if you can, if you have access to a 3D printer and if you can print a new part, I highly recommend printing these higher pressure pieces. I'm going to hold them side by side so you can see that the angle of this is actually different. Therefore, I recommend using those. However, if you don't, here's what you want to do to fix. Inside here, you want to get some epoxy glue and fill this up just a little bit. Not too much, probably just about 2 millimeters or so. You can see this edge right there. Just physically sort of move this further forward. but not all the way, maybe just like 2 millimeters, so about up to here. And then you fill this with epoxy, and that will cause the slide lock to engage earlier. So when the priming handle is pulled all the way forward, this will engage sooner, therefore there will be more pressure on the slide lock, and this will solve the issue as well. So there is no trouble if you don't have access to a 3D printer or can get these new printed versions of the slide lock. You can fix it that way. I have done this with another Gecko of mine where I've had the same issue. I fixed it like this. But in our case, we're going to swap these two parts. So all you want to do now, you kind of want to get the pin out. If you have glued in the pin like I did, this will require a little bit of force. Right, get yourself another pin or like a small needle or something pointy, and then careful and gently just push on here. So you get to push this out on the other side just a little bit. This is glued in, so there's glue on this side, and on this side it holds in place really nicely, which was the aim. All right, so let me take this one to help, and then wait, no, not that. There we go. And then that should do it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Almost out. There we go. Alright. Then you pull this pin out and you take out the slide lock. And now, let me show you the difference between those two. So when I line them up like this, you can see that the bottom part, the orange one, is angled flatter and the black one is angled steeper. So you can sort of see it like here as well. So this will engage, the black one will engage a lot earlier. If you've purchased a Gecko or a Gecko kit through me in my shops at any time within the last couple of months, I think since December or so, you already have these instead of these. And if you've purchased a Gecko earlier than that and you're not sure, you can get these replacements. I can print those for you, no worries. However, the files are on Thingiverse, so if you have access to a 3D printer, you can just get them, print it yourself, and put it in a blaster. So now putting this in is similar to putting the other one in. Basically what you want to do is you want to put that in here. You want to make sure that your pin goes all the way through. I will have to re-glue that. I'll do that in a second. But before I do, I will just test this. So basically just slide this on for now. Get one screw, oops, wrong one. Get one screw in here just to hold this in place. We're not putting any load on it. It's just to make sure that this is in fact long enough as well. So you can see it has enough clearance, it's all good, it's no problem. And it is definitely coming up, so like the pressure in here is working. And this is also a good way for you, like if you fix it with the glue epoxy method, that's a good way for you to test it, so that no spring in here. You're going to slide this forwards, it should engage about here, it should already come up, and then when you go all the way forward it should sort of stay up. Now what you want to do is you take your fingernail and hook on this screw and pull this upwards, so kind of pulling this way, because that will release the force that is pushing on here. And if you do that and this drops down, then your fix in here was not good enough and you need a little bit more glue, but as you can see here, this is not moving, so that is working as it should. So now I can put it all back together, but first off I want to put some glue on the sides here so that pin is secured again. Alright, so here we are back together, and now as you can see, whenever that is forward, this is fully engaging, and I cannot push this down and keep it down. It always comes up because the spring is pulling the priming handle forward. That's how it should be. That's how this piece originally worked. And so yeah, with the fix, either new piece here or the glue fix here. Now this works absolutely fine and there is no ducking whatsoever. And I just shot my wall, which is good, because that's what it's there for. I should put a box over there. Alright, there you go. This is the issue with the ducking. Again, the files, if you have access to printer, the files are on Thingiverse, linked in the description. If you need me to print you some of those, I can do that as well. Just send me an email. And yes, the glue fix also works nice and easy. And yep, there you go. I hope this was helpful. Hope this could solve that issue. And that was it for this episode of this series. I hope you still enjoy it. If you have any problems with your gecko that you cannot figure out on your own and that I have not covered in this series so far, you know, just leave them in the comments or send me a message, or, you know, and then we talk about it, and maybe if I could figure out, I could do another video on how to solve that issue. And that's the whole purpose of this series, actually, so you get your Gecko blasters back up and running and maintained properly and all that. Make sure to like and subscribe and all the usual jazz, and I'll see you at in the next video, in the next episode. Until then, happy modding, happy nerfing, happy gecko maintaining, love and sunshine.